Before words are ever spoken, before promises are made, emotional attachment begins quietly. It shows itself not through dramatic gestures or constant reassurance, but through subtle, consistent behaviors that reveal how deeply someone values your presence in their life. When a man truly wants you in his life forever, his feelings don't rely on loud declarations. They settle into his actions, his choices, and the way he shows up for you day after day. Many people mistake intensity for love. Intensity feels exciting, fast, and overwhelming at times. But real emotional attachment is calmer. It's steady. It's built in the small moments that are easy to overlook. It's in how he listens when you speak, how he reacts when you're upset, and how he includes you in his life without needing to make a big announcement about it. These signs don't scream for attention. They whisper consistency, care, and intention. What makes silent signs so powerful is that they're difficult to fake. Anyone can say the right words when it benefits them, but behavior, especially repeated behavior, tells the truth. A man who is emotionally attached doesn't just think about how you make him feel in the moment. He considers how his actions affect you. He becomes aware of your emotional world and adjusts himself to protect the connection you share. These signs also tend to appear naturally, without effort or planning. He isn't following a script or trying to secure you through gestures. He's responding instinctively because your presence matters to him. Over time, you may notice that he prioritizes your happiness, values your opinion, and finds comfort simply being near you. None of these actions feel forced. They feel genuine because they come from emotional safety and attachment. Understanding these quiet signals can bring clarity to relationships that feel confusing or uncertain. Instead of waiting for grand confessions or dramatic turning points, you can learn to recognize emotional commitment in its truest form. Love that lasts doesn't rush. It builds. It deepens through trust, respect, and consistency. In this list, we'll explore 15 silent signs that reveal when a man wants you in his life forever. These are not surface-level behaviors, but meaningful patterns that show long-term intention. If you recognize several of these signs in someone's actions, it may be because his attachment runs deeper than words and is already choosing you in ways that truly matter. 1. He includes you naturally in his future plans. When a man truly wants you in his life forever, he doesn't make a dramatic announcement about it. He doesn't sit you down for a long speech or promise things loudly. Instead, you'll notice it quietly in the way he talks. When he speaks about the future, you're already there. Not as a question, not as a maybe, but as a natural part of the picture. He says things like, "We'll do this someday," or "When we move," or "You'll love that place," without stopping to explain himself. It feels effortless, because for him, imagining the future without you doesn't even cross his mind. This kind of inclusion isn't about grand plans like marriage or years ahead. Sometimes it's small and subtle, next month, next year, or a casual idea that assumes your presence. That's what makes it powerful. It shows his mind has already made space for you long-term. You're not something he's trying to fit in. You're already woven into his thinking. What's important is that this happens naturally. He's not trying to impress you or secure you. He's simply speaking from a place where you belong. That's a strong emotional sign, because people don't accidentally plan their future around someone they see as temporary. When a man consistently talks about what's coming and you're always part of it, it means his attachment isn't just emotional. It's intentional, steady, and forward-looking. 2. He prioritizes your happiness without announcing it. One of the deepest signs of emotional attachment is when a man cares about your happiness quietly. He doesn't brag about what he does for you. He doesn't remind you of his sacrifices or expect praise. Instead, he adjusts his actions in small ways that make your life easier, calmer, or lighter, often without you even noticing at first. He might change plans because he knows you're tired. He might hold back his own mood to keep peace. He might remember what stresses you and try to protect you from it. The key detail is this: he doesn't make a show out of it. He doesn't say, "Look what I did for you." He just does it because your emotional well-being matters to him. This kind of prioritization comes from genuine care, not obligation. He's not trying to earn points or keep you attached. He simply feels responsible for how you feel when you're with him. Your comfort becomes part of his decision-making process. That's a powerful sign, because people only do this when someone truly matters to them. When a man quietly chooses your happiness again and again, even when it costs him convenience or ego, it shows he's emotionally invested for the long run. Temporary feelings fade, but this kind of care is rooted in attachment, respect, and long-term intention. 3. He stays consistent, not just intense. Intensity can be exciting, but consistency is what reveals real emotional attachment. Anyone can be intense at the beginning. Constant messages, big emotions, strong words. But intensity alone doesn't last. A man who truly wants you in his life forever doesn't disappear when things calm down. He doesn't show up only when it's easy or exciting. He stays steady. Consistency looks like reliability. He communicates regularly, not perfectly, but honestly. His behavior doesn't change based on his mood or convenience. He doesn't make you feel secure one day and confused the next. You know where you stand with him, because his actions don't contradict each other. This steadiness creates emotional safety. You don't have to guess, chase, or overanalyze. His presence feels grounded, not overwhelming. That's because his feelings aren't impulsive. They are rooted. He's not driven by excitement alone, but by commitment, even if he hasn't labeled it yet. Consistency requires effort, patience, and emotional maturity. A man who chooses it is showing you that he's thinking beyond the moment. He's not just enjoying you now. He's building something stable with you. And that's often the clearest sign that his attachment isn't temporary. It's meant to last. 4. He listens deeply and remembers small details. When a man is emotionally attached for the long term, his listening goes beyond politeness. He doesn't just hear your words, he absorbs them. He pays attention to the small things you mention casually, the details you don't even realize matter. Weeks later, he brings them up naturally, surprising you not because he's trying to impress you, but because they stayed with him. This kind of listening is intentional, even when it looks effortless. He remembers how you take your coffee, what stresses you out, what makes you smile when you're having a bad day. He recalls stories you told once, emotions you felt, and moments that mattered to you. That's because when someone truly matters, their world becomes interesting on a deeper level. Deep listening also means he doesn't rush to interrupt or fix everything. He lets you finish. He asks thoughtful questions. He notices what you're not saying just as much as what you are. This shows emotional presence, a sign that his mind isn't halfway somewhere else when he's with you. People don't remember small details about someone they see as temporary. Remembering is a form of emotional investment. It means you occupy space in his mind even when you're not around. And when a man consistently listens, remembers, and responds with understanding, it's a quiet but powerful sign that his attachment runs deep and is built to last. 5. He feels calm and safe around you. One of the most overlooked signs of deep emotional attachment is calmness. When a man truly wants you in his life forever, being with you doesn't feel chaotic or overwhelming. It feels grounding. Around you, he doesn't need to perform, impress, or stay guarded. He can simply be himself. You may notice that his energy softens when you're together. Conversations flow without pressure. Silence doesn't feel awkward. He feels emotionally safe, which allows him to relax in a way he doesn't with everyone. This sense of peace isn't boredom, it's comfort. It's what happens when trust replaces anxiety. Emotional safety means he can open up without fear of judgment. He can express doubts, stress, or vulnerability because he feels accepted. That's significant, especially for someone who doesn't open easily. When a man finds calm in your presence, it means you've become his emotional refuge. People don't attach deeply to chaos, they attach to peace. If he consistently chooses your presence when he needs grounding or clarity, it shows that you regulate his emotions in a healthy way. That kind of bond isn't fleeting. Calmness is often the foundation of long-term love, and feeling safe with you means is already emotionally home. 6. He supports your goals without seeking credit. True emotional attachment shows up in quiet support. A man who wants you in his life forever doesn't compete with your dreams or feel threatened by your growth. Instead, he encourages you in ways that don't draw attention back to him. He supports you because he genuinely wants to see you succeed, not because he wants recognition. He might help behind the scenes, offer encouragement when you doubt yourself, or give advice only when asked. He doesn't remind you of how much is done. He doesn't say, "You couldn't do this without me." In fact, he's happiest when your achievements stand on their own. This kind of support comes from emotional security. He's not afraid of your independence or success because he sees your growth as something that benefits both of you. He believes in you, even during moments when you don't fully believe in yourself. When a man supports your goals quietly, it shows long-term thinking. He's not focused on control or ego. He's focused on partnership. He's investing in your future because, in his mind, your future is connected to his. That level of support isn't temporary. It's the behavior of someone who sees you as a permanent part of his life. 7. He protects your name when you're not present. When a man is deeply emotionally attached, his loyalty shows most clearly when you're not around to see it. He doesn't allow others to disrespect you, misinterpret your actions, or speak carelessly about you. Even in casual conversations, he corrects assumptions, defends your intentions, and makes sure your name is spoken with respect. This kind of protection isn't loud or aggressive. It's calm and firm. He doesn't start arguments, but he doesn't stay silent either. If someone crosses a line, he draws a boundary. That's because he sees your reputation as connected to his own. Your dignity matters to him, even when you're not in the room. People only do this for someone they truly value. It's easy to be kind face-to-face, but protecting someone's name in their absence requires integrity and emotional attachment. It shows he respects you deeply, not just emotionally, but morally. When a man consistently defends your character without needing credit or approval, it means he's committed to you on a deeper level. He's not just attached to how you make him feel. He's attached to who you are. That kind of loyalty is a strong sign of long-term intention and emotional permanence. 8. He adjusts his life to make space for you. A man who wants you in his life forever doesn't expect you to squeeze into his world. He reshapes his world to include you. He makes adjustments naturally, not as a sacrifice, but as a choice. His routines, time, and priorities begin to shift because your presence matters. This doesn't mean he gives up everything or loses himself. Instead, he finds balance. He plans around you. He considers your schedule. He creates room emotionally and practically. You feel included rather than accommodated. That distinction matters. What makes this meaningful is consistency. He doesn't make space only when it's convenient. Even during busy or stressful periods, he finds ways to stay connected. That shows intentional effort. It means you're not an afterthought. People only rearrange their lives for someone they see as long-term. Temporary connections stay on the margins. When a man repeatedly adjusts his life to make room for you, it shows that you're not just part of his present, you're part of his future. 9. He values your opinion above others. When a man is emotionally attached, your perspective carries weight. He doesn't just ask what you think out of politeness. He genuinely considers it. Your opinion influences his decisions, from small choices to bigger life matters. You may notice that he checks in with you before deciding something important. He reflects on what you said. He sometimes changes his mind because your view makes sense to him. That's not weakness, it's respect. Valuing your opinion means he sees you as a partner, not just a presence. He trusts your judgment and believes your thoughts add clarity to his life. Even when he doesn't fully agree, he listens carefully and treats your viewpoint seriously. People don't seek guidance from someone they see as temporary. When a man consistently values what you think, it shows he's emotionally invested and future-oriented. He's not just living alongside you. He's integrating your voice into his life. That level of respect is one of the strongest signs that he wants you there for the long run. 10. He feels unsettled when you pull away. When a man is deeply emotionally attached, distance affects him, even if he doesn't openly admit it. When you pull away emotionally, become quieter, or create space, he senses the shift immediately. Something feels off to him, not because he's losing control, but because your connection matters to his emotional balance. He may become more attentive, check in more often, or seem slightly restless. He's trying to understand what changed. Your absence, emotionally or physically, creates a noticeable gap in his routine and mindset. That reaction shows attachment, because indifference doesn't feel discomfort when someone steps back. What's important is how he responds. Instead of withdrawing or punishing you with silence, he seeks reconnect. He asks if you're okay. He becomes more present. This shows emotional awareness and concern, not insecurity. When someone is temporary, distance feels easy. When someone is permanent, distance feels unnatural. If he consistently feels unsettled when you pull away, it means your presence stabilizes him. You've become emotionally significant, and losing closeness with you isn't something he can ignore or brush aside. 11. He shows up during your difficult moments. True attachment reveals itself in hard times, not comfortable ones. A man who wants you in his life forever doesn't disappear when things get heavy. He shows up, emotionally, mentally, and often physically, when you're struggling, overwhelmed, or hurting. He doesn't wait for things to be fun again. He doesn't offer shallow words and vanish. Instead, he stays present. Sometimes that looks like listening without trying to fix everything. Sometimes it's practical help. Sometimes it's simply sitting with you in silence. The form doesn't matter, the consistency does. Showing up during difficulty requires emotional strength. It means he's willing to share weight, not just joy. He's choosing connection over comfort. That's a powerful sign because many people pull away when emotions become inconvenient. When a man stands beside you during your lowest moments, he's showing long-term intention. He's not only attached to the best version of you, he's committed to the real one. And that kind of presence is one of the strongest foundations for a lasting bond. 12. He mirrors your energy and habits. When emotional attachment deepens, people begin to sync. A man who's emotionally connected to you will start mirroring your energy without realizing it. He picks up your phrases, your rhythms, your small habits, not because he's copying you intentionally, but because emotional closeness creates alignment. You may notice he adopts your pace, calmer when you're calm, lighter when you're playful. He starts liking things you like, or at least understanding why they matter to you. His routines subtly adjust to match yours. Mirroring is a subconscious behavior. It happens when someone feels emotionally safe and connected. It's the mind's way of saying, this person feels like home. That's why it's such a strong sign of attachment. People don't mirror strangers or temporary connections. They mirror those they feel bonded to. If he naturally aligns his energy and habits with yours, it means your presence influences him deeply. You're not just someone in his life. You're someone his life is beginning to move with. 13. He finds comfort simply being near you. When a man is emotionally attached on a deep level, your presence alone brings him comfort. It's not about constant conversation, entertainment, or excitement. He doesn't need you to do anything special. Just being near you is enough to make him feel settled, grounded, and at ease. You may notice that he prefers sitting close to you, staying longer than necessary, or choosing to be around you even when nothing particular is happening. Silence doesn't bother him. There's no pressure to fill every moment. That ease is a strong emotional indicator, because comfort like this only forms when trust and attachment are present. This kind of closeness means his nervous system relaxes around you. He feels safe enough to lower his guard, release tension, and simply exist. That doesn't happen with someone he sees as temporary or replaceable. When someone becomes a source of comfort rather than stimulation, it signals long-term attachment. Excitement can come from many places, but peace comes from very few. If he consistently seeks your presence for calm, it means you've become emotionally significant in a lasting way. 14. He treats your feelings with care and respect. A man who wants you in his life forever is mindful of how his actions affect you. He doesn't dismiss your emotions, minimize your experiences, or make you feel dramatic for expressing yourself. Even when he doesn't fully understand your feelings, he respects that they matter. You'll notice that he chooses his words carefully during sensitive moments. He listens before reacting. He doesn't weaponize your vulnerability during conflict. Instead of trying to win, he tries to understand. That level of emotional responsibility is rare and meaningful. Respecting your feelings doesn't mean perfection. He may still make mistakes, but what sets him apart is his willingness to acknowledge them and adjust. He values your emotional safety, not just his own comfort. People who see relationships as temporary often avoid emotional depth. But when a man consistently treats your feelings with gentleness and respect, it shows he's invested long-term. He's not just attached to you. He's committed to protecting the emotional space between you. 15. He stays even when things aren't easy. One of the clearest signs that a man wants you in his life forever is his willingness to stay during difficult times. When challenges arise, misunderstandings happen, or emotions get heavy, he doesn't immediately look for an exit. He remains present and engaged. Staying doesn't mean tolerating unhealthy behavior or ignoring problems. It means he's willing to work through discomfort instead of avoiding it. He communicates, reflects, and tries to find solutions rather than shutting down or walking away. This choice requires emotional maturity. It shows he understands that real connection isn't always smooth. He accepts that relationships include effort, patience, and growth. Temporary people leave when things get complicated. Long-term partners stay and try. If he continues showing up, communicating, and choosing you even when it's hard, it means his attachment isn't based on convenience. It's built on intention, resilience, and a genuine desire for something lasting.